All right, this is the second part of your chapter 8-7 notes. So for this, we're going to do the exact same thing as the first part, except we're going to solve these because they're set equal to 0. So let's look at this first one. You have 8x squared plus 2x minus 3 is equal to 0. First thing, just like we always do, see if there's a greatest common factor you can pull out. And there is no greatest common factor, so no GCF. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to label this our A, B, and C. So A is equal to 8, B is equal to 2, C is equal to negative 3. I'm going to do my AC method. So AC is equal to 8 times negative 3. AC is equal to negative 24. Okay, before I figure out what two numbers can go in negative 24, that multiply give me negative 3, add to get negative 2, I'm going to rewrite this. So we're going to have 8x plus or minus something, 8x plus or minus something, and I'm going to look at my signs. So we have a positive and a negative. Okay, so with the negative in the back, that means you're going to have a loser and a winner. Okay, the winner is always right here in the middle. So my winner is the positives, loser is the negatives, so negative and a positive. All right, so let's just start. We have negative 1 and positive 24. That gives me 23. Negative 2, positive 12. That would give me 10. Negative 3, positive 8. That would give me 5. Negative 4, positive 6. That would give me 2. And that's what I want because that's the value of my B right here. So we have minus 4 and we have plus 6. Okay, we're going to go ahead and pull out your greatest common factor. So this first one I can pull out a 4. So that means I will be left with 8, not 8. I'm pulling out the 4. So 8 divided by 4 is 2. So we have 2x minus 1. And then I'm going to pull out not a 4, I can pull out a 2 here. And that would give me 8 divided by 2 is 4. 6 divided by 2 is 3. Okay, you can go ahead and trash the 4 and the 2. We're just going to rewrite this. 2x minus 1 and 4x plus 3 is equal to 0. So all you have to do is set each one equal to 0. 2x minus 1 equals 0. 4x plus 3 equals 0. And we're going to solve for x. So to solve for x, you add 1 on both sides. So you have 2x is equal to 1. Divide both sides by 2. X is equal to 1/2. So there's one answer. Here you're going to subtract 3 from both sides. So 4x is equal to negative 3. Divide both sides by 4. X is equal to negative 3 over 4. Okay, so those are your answers. The way that you're going to write this, your final answer, is you just do fancy little bracket. Negative 3 over 4, comma 1/2, fancy little bracket. This right here is your final answer. Okay, and again, I'm going to go through this kind of quickly so you can pause it, rewind it, all that other fun stuff. All right, number 2. So for this one, again, there is no greatest common factor because those are not all divisible by 2 or 3 or 5. So A is equal to 3, B is equal to negative 2, C is equal to negative 5. AC method says to do 3 times negative 5, which gives me negative 15. Okay, so I know that I'm going to have 3n plus or minus something, 3n plus or minus something. To figure out those answers, you have negative 15. Okay, now I'm going to look at my signs. We have a negative and a negative. Anytime you have a negative in the back, we're going to have a loser and a winner. The winner is whoever's in the middle, which is a negative. So my losers are positives. All right, so to do this, let's start with 1. We have 1 and negative 15. That would give me a negative 4. 2 doesn't go into 15. 3 does. So we have positive 3 and negative 5. That gives me a negative 2, and that's exactly what I want. So we will have plus 3 and minus 5. I can pull out a 3 here. So what I have left is 3, I'm pulling out a 3, so I have with n plus 1. And then here, there's nothing I can pull out, so I have 3n minus 5. Okay, we can trash that here. This is set equal to 0. So just set each piece equal to 0. N plus 1 equals 0. 3n minus 5 equals 0. So here, n equals negative 1. Here, 3n is equal to 5, so n is equal to 5 divided by 3. Okay, so these are your answers. We're just going to rewrite it in fancy bracket form. So we would have negative 1 comma 5 over 3. All right. Next one, number 3. So number 3 again, first step is to pull out a greatest common factor. There is no greatest common factor here, so I'm going to write no GCF. Then we're going to write A equals 2, B equals negative 13, C equals negative 7, AC method, so we have 2 times negative 7, so AC is equal to negative 14. Right, so I know that I'm going to have 2D plus or minus something, 2D plus or minus something, and that's going to be equal to 0. So I'm going to look to see what two numbers will multiply to give me negative 14 and add to give me this negative 13. To do that, look at your signs. So I know that since the last one's a negative, we're going to have a loser and a winner. The winner is the middle term, so the winner is negative, losers are positive. So we'll start with 1 and negative 14. That gives me negative 13, and that's what I want. So 2D plus 1, 2D minus 14. See if there's anything I can pull out. The first one, there's not, so I just have 2D plus 1. The second one, I can pull out a 2, so I'm just left with D minus 7, and that's equal to 0. Again, that 2, you can cross that off. So what we're going to do next is we're going to set each of these equal to 0. So 2D plus 1 equals 0. D minus 7 equals 0. So here, 2D would equal to negative 1. So D is equal to negative 1/2. And here, D is just equal to 7. So these are your answers. You just have to rewrite it in fancy bracket form. So negative 1/2, comma 7. All right, number 4. Okay, so this one, you're going to have to do a step first. If you notice, it said equal to negative 8x. You're going to have to bring this back on over right there in the middle so that it can be in the correct form. And if it's negative, when you bring it back over, it will become positive. So you have 12x squared plus 8x minus 15 is equal to 0. And then there is no GCF here because 15 would only be 3 and 5. I can't pull a 3 or a 5 out of 8. So there's no GCF. No GCF. A is equal to 12, B is equal to 8, C is equal to negative 15. AC method would be 12 times negative 15. So AC would come out to be negative 180. All right, so I know that my answer is going to look something like this. We're going to have 12x plus or minus something. 12x plus or minus something is equal to 0. I need two numbers that will multiply to give me negative 180 and add to give me 8. So looking at my signs here, because I have a negative in the back, I automatically know that we're going to have a loser and a winner. My winner is the positives and the loser is the negative. So negative and positive. Now I'm going to save you some time on this because I'll show you how to do it in the calculator during class. But the numbers that it's going to come out to be is negative 10, positive 18. That gives you your positive 8. So these are the numbers you want to use. So minus 10 plus 18. Pull out any greatest common factor. So the 12x minus 10, I can pull out a 2. So that will leave me with a 6x minus 5. And the second one, I can pull out a 6 from both of these. And that will leave me with a 2x plus 3. And this is equal to 0. Again, trash, trash. So just set these equal to 0. So 6x minus 5 is equal to 0. And 2x plus 3 is equal to 0. So when I solve for x, we have 6x is equal to 5. X is equal to 5 divided by 6. 2x is equal to negative 3. X is equal to negative 3 over 2. So these are your answers. You just have to write them in fancy bracket form. So negative 3 over 2, comma 5 over 6. And I'm putting them in order from least to greatest. Okay, and looks like we have 2 more like this and then a word problem. All right, 8x squared plus 5x equals 3 plus 7x. First thing you need to do is not that. Let's see, where did it just go? There we go. Okay, first thing that you need to do is you need to get everything on the same side. So here, you're going to have to bring the positive 3 over, it becomes a negative. Here, you're going to have to bring the x over, so it's going to become a negative. So when we simplify this, you have 8x squared. Here, 5 minus 7 would give me a negative 2. And the positive 3, when we move it over, becomes a negative. All right. So now we're going to see that we have no GCF. So that's the first thing. There is no greatest common factor, no GCF. So A is equal to 8, B is equal to negative 2, C is equal to negative 3. So AC method would be 8 times negative 3. So AC is negative 24. So before I figure out what two numbers can multiply to give me negative 24, and add to give me this negative 2, I got to look at my signs. So you have a negative and a negative. Anytime you have a negative back there, you'll have a loser and a winner. Winner is the middle term, so that's negative, so my losers are positive. All right, so for this one, we could do 1 and negative 24. That gives me negative 23. We can do 2 and negative 12. That'll give me negative 10. 3 and negative 8. That gives me negative 5. 4 and negative 6. That gives me the negative 2. And that's what I want, was a negative 2. So I know that my answer is going to be 8x. We can do the plus 4. And then we have 8x. I have the minus 6. And those are going to be equal to 0. So let's go ahead and pull out what we can. This first one, I can pull a 4 out. So we're left with 2x plus 1. The second term, I can only pull out a 2. So I'm left with a 4x minus 3 is equal to 0. Again, trash, trash. So what we have left is 2x plus 1 is equal to 0. 4x minus 3 is equal to 0. And we're just going to solve for x. So 2x is equal to negative 1. X is equal to negative 1/2. 4x is equal to 3. X is equal to 3 over 4. So these are your answers. And again, all you have to do is fancy bracket, order from least to greatest. So negative 1/2, 3/4. All right. Last one that's like this. So we have a word problem. We have 3b squared minus 18b equals 10b minus 49. So I'm going to have to subtract 10b from both sides, because that gets rid of that, and move the negative 49 over. So you have 3b squared. Negative 18 and negative 10 gives me negative 28b. And then when I move the negative 49 over, it becomes a positive, and that's set equal to 0. All right, for this one, there is no greatest common factor, so we have no GCF. I'm going to label A is equal to 3, B is equal to negative 28, C is equal to 49. AC method, we have 3 times 49, so AC comes out to be 147. Okay, looking at my signs, I have a negative and a positive. So remember, negative times a negative gives you a positive, and when you add those up, that will give you your negative. So both these are going to be negative. So just to kind of save some time, we can do negative 7 and negative 21 to give us negative 28. Okay, and that ends up being what you want. So you will have 3b plus or minus something, 3b plus or minus something is equal to 0, and we found those numbers. And those numbers are going to be negative 7 and negative 21. Okay, pull out whatever you can. Well, this first one, I can't pull anything out, so we just have 3b minus 7. The second one, I can pull out a 3. So what I have is a b minus 7 is equal to 0. Again, trash that. So we have 3b minus 7 is equal to 0. We have b minus 7 is equal to 0. This first one will be 3b is equal to 7. So b is equal to 7 divided by 3. Okay, this one just adds 7 to both sides, so b is equal to 7. Rewrite this, 7 over 3, comma 7. And there's your final answer. All right. Let me see about this last one. Okay, this last one I can quickly do. Here we go. So it says the length of a Charlotte, North Carolina extemporary garden is 20 yards greater than its width. If the area is 300 square yards, what are the dimensions? Okay, so for this one, what we're going to do is I'm going to draw my garden. Okay, so we know it says that the length is 20 yards greater than its width. So if I call this x for my width, then this is going to be x plus 20. Okay, I know the total area is 300 yards. Okay, I'm going to ignore the units for right now. We know area is equal to length times width. I know my area was 300. Length times width is going to be my x times my x plus 20. Okay, I'm going to multiply that out to get 300 is equal to x squared plus 20x. And I want to set that equal to 0. So 0 is equal to x squared plus 20x. When I move that 300 over, it becomes a negative. Okay, so a is equal to 1, b is equal to 20, c is equal to negative 300. Right, my AC method, well, first of all, there's no GCF, so no GCF. AC will be 1 times negative 300, which is just negative 300. Okay, and then what we have is my little tree. So I have negative 300. Okay, this is a negative and that's a positive. So when I look at my losers and my winners, my winners are positives, losers are negatives. So negative and a positive. Just to save time, this is going to be a negative 10 and a positive 30 because that gives me my 20, which I want right here in the middle. So what we'll have, let me change a different color. What we'll have is x minus 10, x plus 30 is equal to 0. Okay, so when I said those equal to 0, x minus 10 is equal to 0, x plus 30 is equal to 0, x is equal to 10, and x is equal to negative 30. Now here's where common sense comes in, okay? If I ask you to measure something and you say, oh, it's negative 30 centimeters, that doesn't make sense. So that one is gone. You don't want the negative. You cannot have a negative measurement. Okay, so it's asking you what the dimensions are. Well, your width, that was your x. So my x is 10, and these are yards. Okay, your length, that was x plus 20. So 10 plus 20 is 30, and this is in yards. So there's your answer. All right, and so that is your 8-7 notes part 2.